Hello, I'm Derek Wheatley, and welcome to the Weekly podcast, episode 25, which is a quarter century, I suppose. So that's a celebration in itself. Thanks, as always, for the support during the week and for tuning in last Saturday night. We're going to be doing that Facebook Live from now on for the next while until I get sick of it again. Which could be next week. It's highly likely. Yeah, thanks for tuning into that. And I'm still learning some songs, and it was very nerve-wracking playing a new song on it last week, but it was good. I got some nice responses. Thanks to Kieran McNally for last week's episode. If you need any advice from Kieran, actually, we if you go onto our Facebook page, scroll down probably 3 or 4 posts, maybe by the time this comes out, a few more than that, and you'll find his information there. And give him a shout because he's very good at what he does. Okay, to introduce my next guest, today's guest, I should say. He's a musician and singer, guitarist in the band The Sweet, and a former bandmate of mine. And it is Shawn Allen.
Hey man, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you, Shawn?
I'm alright, dude.
Good. Thank you very much for coming on, by the way.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thanks. By the way, just a little off microphone moment. He's after fixing my studio for me, basically. Didn't ask him to. I
just came in and just thought, is this all wrong? This is all wrong, Derek.
But he did notice, and this is the thing about Shawn, he's been doing it a long time with microphones, and that sounds wrong. But he's been he's been using microphones a long time.
That was 60 seconds.
Yeah, I know. Disaster. But he's been using a long time, and he spotted something that I would not have spotted. So that's great. Shawn, we will start as always with I know Anita, your sister, was on a couple of weeks ago, so you've a lot to live up to. The Allen family are all listening. So a short history of your upbringing from your perspective.
All right, so okay. Well, you see, oh God, you're having thrown me off now because Anita overshadows me in every she's got so many achievements.
Yeah.
She has, and you forget that as her older brother.
Yeah.
How impressive she is, and how she has handled herself and handled her life, and everything that's happened, and how she has just been so positive in everything that she does.
Yeah.
And it's I love her to pieces, and she's just, so when you say you've a lot to live up to, we're already off to a rocky start.
Yeah, very much so.
Growing up in Mount Temple in Killinatour, I am three older sisters, then there's me, then there's Anita, and then there's Paul. So right in the middle, there's 3 older ladies, and then it's the firstborn son. So there's straight away, it's a spanner in the works. We've had 3 girls. What do we do with this? And well, it's, it was the same as every other childhood. I imagined. We always had a roof over our heads, and my dad worked so hard to provide for his family, us, and it was an impressive thing to do. When I was growing up, I was born in 1978, so there was everything in the 80s. There was recessions, and the countries had less money than we had now, and we always had food. We always had heat. And so I love the fact that my dad just got up every day, and he was a fitter. So he just underneath a JCB or on a building site fixing a dump truck, and then he'd go and play music. Yeah. So I don't know if anybody out here is listening, has ever tried to get oil off your hands under your nails.
Yeah.
And then just go out and then go into a pub and put up with, the drunken public shouting at you to
Heckles.
Play another tune now. Would be too many people heckling Jack now, to be quite honest. No, that's the word. Maybe not feeling in a correct state of mind. But, there was a lot of, I just remember a lot of hard work and music.
Yeah.
And just hanging out with my sisters and my cousins, and it was just a sense of family.
Very close family still,
Yeah.
I said when Anita was on how I got to experience a little bit of it, and
Oh yeah, when you came out to band
yeah,
practice.
but but like you always got that sense of a sense of family, obviously, but a sense of crack and a bit of fun, and every, obviously the dynamics in a family change all the time, and there's a bit of giving out and stuff. But this always seemed to be a really nice atmosphere, and even when myself and John obviously would come out to yourself and Paul, and we'd watch a film in the room, and and it was good, but it was a really nice place to visit. It's kind of got that lovely atmosphere, and I was out there a few times, and I always liked going out. Like
it's very quiet. It's very peaceful out there.
It's lovely. And that was, like I said to Anita, that was my first experience of a country place as such. So it was something I hadn't something I'd imagined and probably got wrong in my imagination when you compare it to actually going there and kind of going, oh, there's actually quiet stuff, which I have now.
It's you can hear the ambient noises.
Yeah,
you can hear your house.
Yeah.
Do you know the way, like, I mean, people say that a house breathes. It does, and you can hear your house.
Yeah.
So that's something as well when you become a homeowner, like I did a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
You suddenly become very paranoid about every little sound in the house.
Yeah.
Oh no, what's that? It's going to break. I'm going to fix that now. So
Something's going.
Yeah.
So, like, when was the first time you became aware of mental health?
I was very socially I can't think of the word. I wasn't a very socially aware child. Whereas, it was very hard for me to make friends. I was a very anxious child. I was a very scared child. Afraid of letting people down. It was very hard being the only boy for a couple of years. And I had an older cousin who lived in the house across the way down the field. We'd say next door.
Yeah.
But as you can see from your house here, it's the next house is there, and I'll triple that distance, and you're getting close to it. So my cousin next door, but he was older than me. So when he started, let's say, coming of age and getting interested in things that I had known nothing about, and, so there was I wouldn't say lonely, but there was a lack of companionship.
Yeah.
And I remember, and I was bullied as well,
right,
because of this anxiety that I had about. So it's a circular thing. You just want to have a friend, so you literally don't know how to act.
Right, I know what you mean. Yeah.
So you act silly, or do something that is not socially given.
Yeah.
It's like, that's okay to do, and then you feel stupid about it. And then that just circles back on itself, and it's, oh, why did I do that? And then so for about 18 years, that was
really
my mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I got bullied. One of my earliest memories of being bullied was when I was in low infants.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus. I don't remember that low infants.
Oh, I remember it distinctly. I remember walking into the classroom, and one of my second cousins, who is older than me, like, grabs one of the books and says, like, read that. And I read it, and he hit me around the head with it. And because I could read a book, he couldn't.
Yeah, that's normally the way bullies work.
That exactly.
Yeah.
That basically is a premise for 18 years.
But you could feel, now what it was.
No, I know now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there was no such thing as being anxious.
Yeah.
Not no such thing as being anxious, but having like a social anxiety, or how do I deal with this? Because it was very much, shut up and get on with it.
Yeah.
There was no history of trying to promote a positive mental health.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
At that stage. And something that still has to be looked at in this this country at the minute. Our mental health system in this country needs a lot of support.
I agree.
But this was just, so that was my childhood. I was a very anxious kid. I got bullied a fair bit, and that's about that. And then the weird thing is, after I left school, everything got better.
Yeah. Can I say, actually, right, I met you when I was, I'm going to say 19, right? So we'll say you were 22, 23.
About that.
Yeah. You were the, what way should I say this? It's a good thing.
Oh, God.
I've never seen anyone so comfortable in public as you were at the time, right? Because obviously you had the performing. We'll chat about that, but not even just the performing aspect of it. Just how you went into a place, how you went into a shopping centre or supermarket. I felt I could see the kind of way I was when I was walking into town with you, like we did on a number of occasions, into pubs and ever.
Yeah.
And I could see this person, and I didn't know about this your what happened to you in school and all those things. So to see the kind of flip, where did that come from then, do you think?
Removing the negatives from my life.
Yeah.
And it's well, the lack of, let's say, what you call fear about standing up and playing music or speaking to a crowd or anything like that. I have zero fear about that now. Because of what I've experienced as a child.
Yeah.
There's nothing. There is nothing that can be done to me that will ever haunt me as my fears did as a child. Nothing.
But it's interesting as well, because when we were, I know I'm getting ahead of myself here, but when we were in a band, and we'll talk about the dynamics of it later on, but yourself and Paul have a great relationship, great dynamic between the two of you. Now Paul was 16 at the time.
Yeah. And an amazing guitarist.
A ridiculously talented guy, right? And unfortunately, Paul had to leave the band to do his leaving cert, which says it all. But just that, for me to get up on stage for my first time in a band, I would have very much struggled without you and Paul. And I will say John as well, because John was very, very... He's a very funny guy, but he was very, very relaxed as well. Like, and you could relax around him.
Horizontal.
Yeah,
he's so relaxed.
So that kind of aspect of it was so calming to me. Like, it's just one of those things that kind of, it does rub off on somebody else. Like,
there is a if you're comfortable with people, if somebody makes you feel comfortable and lowers that, lowers your anxiety or gives you a little prop that you've got support, that's a good thing. Yeah. And a lot of people in this day and age don't have that. Yeah. Even somebody who, it's like you say, we're not getting too far ahead of ourselves here, but you can put it down to a lot of things. There's so much. The world moves at such a fast rate now, especially with the open information and technology, and how quickly you can share an image, and you can build someone up just as quickly as tearing them down with the press of a button. Yeah, and that was never available before, and thankfully that wasn't available when I was growing up, and even 15, 18 years ago. Thankfully Bebo has closed down its website because there's some questionable pictures on there as well.
Bebo and MySpace is one of those ones that people are glad they got rid of, because they were the experimental days. And it was like, it was pure carnage. But we are going to get back into that. But what I want to talk about, the kind of, I suppose, the main topic really, because I want to learn a bit more about the suite and the band that you're in now. Yeah. How did they come about? How did you get together?
I was working in iRadio. I think it's about 12 years ago. And a friend of mine called Mike O'Dowd, who was Lakeland Recording Studios in Glasson, and he contacted me while I was in work, and he said, listen, would you I've got friends who are looking to audition for a singer and a guitarist in a band. They have a couple of dates booked in for X, Y, and Z. And I was like, okay, what do you want me to do? And he goes, would you mind announcing it on your show? And I said, wait there, hold on, back it up there. What are they looking for? And he goes, well, they're looking for a singer who could play the guitar. And I went, just give them my number and see if they're interested.
Yeah.
Like, I'll announce it if you want. And he goes, oh yeah, of course. Sorry, yeah. And
He just didn't think it.
he was like, the guy said, we're looking for a yoke. And he goes, oh, my friend Shawn works in a radio station, and I'll give him a shout.
Yeah.
And I totally took it on myself.
Nice.
I was like, grand. So I went and I did the audition, and the lads offered me the job, and we did the dates. And afterwards, we said, will we keep this going? And we all agreed we'll keep going, but we approach this in a very professional manner. Okay, no drinking on stage. Be professional, dress well, know your stuff, practice, and we did, and we're 10 years out now anyway.
Wow.
I think about that. Like I think we had maybe 7 weddings in the first year.
Was it? Yeah.
We had nothing.
Yeah.
And it took. I think the best piece of advice I heard was from another guy in a wedding band years and years ago, and he said, "If you can last 5 years in any band, you'll be okay." And after the 5th year with the Suite, we were at the stage where it's like, okay, we're getting calls. We're getting a good bit of traffic moving here, and that was Alan Kelly, the bass player, and it was Barry Power. He's the guitarist, and we have Ben Parker now, and Mike actually played drums with us at the start for a wee bit, and then we had a couple of drummers in and out, but Ben is there for the last 7 years, I think.
Oh, right,
now.
okay.
And just solid. All the guys are just such solid musicians.
Excellent musicians. I forgot for a long time, but I got to see you live before at John's wedding.
John's wedding.
And that's what I will say about the lads. Brilliant musicians, right? Obviously the voices, excellent. But like you say, but there was a professional sheen off you. You know what I mean? You can kind of get that sense. Like you said, no drinking on stage. I didn't know obviously those rules were there, but no drinking on stage. But the professionalism is there. The sound quality is there as well. And I am gonna talk a bit about the little segments that you've been doing, because lads and ladies, you have to go to their page on Facebook, The Suite, because they've been doing lockdown songs. You can fill us in on why and what you've been doing.
Okay, well, let me see. So when all this craziness kicked off in the first place, it was about March, and it was we played our last gig in 2020 so far to date. Was the 7th of March, which was the weekend of my birthday, and then the week after that, I think it was Wednesday, and we all started getting this worrying news like this. There's been horrific casualties in Italy and moving up through Europe, and the schools got closed. We got a phone call from the schools saying that the schools were closed on Thursday. That was it. And on that day, Alan contacted us all and said, the weddings this weekend are cancelled.
Okay.
They're gone. And I was like, oh, okay. Okay, okay. Because for anybody who works in the entertainment industry, you're self-employed. You pay your taxes. That's it. There is no backup plan. So those weddings got cancelled, and then all the weddings after that, within the space of about 4 days, all of March was gone.
Yeah.
And that's every weekend. And then April was gone. Then May was gone. And June. And July.
The months.
These months.
The big ones,
these these are huge because being in a wedding band specifically is very seasonal.
Yeah.
You don't get a lot of January weddings.
No.
You know, it's not like a dream month for getting married, but it was. And not only was this happening to us, this is happening to everybody in the entertainment sector.
Yeah.
DJs, wedding suppliers, church singers. This is an entire segment of a very, very large economic community that, for the country of Ireland, was wiped out completely. And we all understood it. We all understood why. So there's no like, oh, this is rubbish.
Yeah.
We all have it. The government, I have to say it, when they brought in the COVID payments, that was quick acting and it saved a lot of lives. Because I don't know what I'd do if I didn't have it. Certainly, the rest of the musicians and artists that I know have, you know, unless they have a day job, that didn't require them to shut down. They were all in trouble as well. So when when this hit, it was like, okay, well, we need to keep playing music because I'm losing my mind. You know, I felt like loading the gear in and out of the car every Friday and Saturday night just to feel normal. And the videos came about. It was like, okay, we should play it. Let's just record ourselves. We all have the equipment. We all have the abilities to do it. So let's just pick a song and do it. So we did. What was the first one? God. Was it a Beatles one as well?
Yeah,
it was.
Hard Day's Night. Or I Want to Hold Your Hand.
I Want to Hold Your Hand. That was it.
And then you did one on your own, didn't you?
I did. I did Simply the Best, the Noah Reid version from what Creek? Schitt's Creek.
Schitt's Creek, yeah.
Yeah. And I played it a little bit slower.
Yeah.
If you play the two of them side by side, like his is a lot faster and a lot more accurate, but mine is a bit slower. I just listened to it and I was like, no.
Oh no, because Anita mentioned it when she was here last, and I thought it was excellent too. And
thanks very much, man.
You know, you've released Crowded House yesterday.
We did,
which is excellent too.
Thanks very much.
I love that song. As
it's
you know,
a great tune.
Oh, I love it. But we just chatted about this before. Now I'm not a fan of a Beatles cover. You know, I just because like there has been some very good ones. I'm not going to say that there's not, but they have to win me over. They really have to. So
well, you are the biggest Beatles fan that I have ever encountered in my life.
Yeah, well, I'm going to take that as a compliment. So thanks very much.
No worries.
But I will say, like, Here Comes the Sun is a beautiful song. It's such a good song to me. Everything about it, I love it, right? But what you did with it, like I said before, the mix, excellent. But even down to the little details, the little things like the synth, I'm not sure what it was. You said it was maybe.
I think it was Barry who did that.
I'm not sure what he was using, but whatever it was just so close to, like, I know a Moog synthesizer is not easy to come by, or it's pretty expensive, but it's amazing what people can do if they're just good and they have a good ear.
Yeah,
how they can put something in. If you want to listen to some great covers, people go over to their Facebook page because it's class.
Thanks very much, man.
No, you're welcome. This is a question that I've often wondered about because I've only played obviously in pubs and stuff. Like how heavy is the weight of like responsibility that you feel when you are playing at somebody's biggest day of their lives? You know.
I don't know. I think because I've been playing music for so long. I had to get very comfortable in front of a crowd. Like there is that. It takes time, you know. I do get nervous, but that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But it's not. It doesn't stop me from doing what I have to do. It's like any profession. When you're standing up there and you have to try and make an evening flow properly. And a lot of people think it's getting up there and hammering out a few tunes and getting on the way and doing that. And you speak to the bride and groom beforehand. They might have a few requests and you take care of that. And I've had to talk a bride out of the toilet because she's just so nervous. You could write a book about experiences at weddings.
Yeah.
You like as anybody else, I suppose, within their own industry, but you take it on board and you have to roll with the punches, whatever happens on the night. But you carry it. You're a professional, and you just do it, head down, and just do it.
And there's a bit of like not putting pressure on yourself.
At this stage, there's very little that could happen that I haven't experienced before.
Yeah.
Like I've seen a lot.
I've seen some things.
I've seen some things, man. But it's somebody's wedding day.
Yeah.
And they're asking you, can you help? Can you help me on my day? Yeah. You bet your ass I will.
Yeah. It's a special thing for someone to have.
Some guys are in this business playing music and they whine so much. And I used to be one of them. I did. And I put my hand on my heart. I used to be one of them, but my mindset has changed in the last couple of years, especially since I became a dad. And it's just to be a bit more positive.
Yeah.
Try to be a bit more positive. But when you're playing, when you're doing something that you love doing, and somebody's paying you to do it, that's a career. That's not a job.
Oh, yeah.
That's a career.
Yeah.
You take that and you run with it, and you just do the best you can.
Yeah. That's the kind of the attitude that you take to it, I suppose, and that's the way to do it. And just before we take a quick break for an advert, I will shout out to Grace, who told me last night that Shawn played at her wedding. I'm not going to put him on the spot now, because that would be very unfair, but we see you.
We see you.
Different voice on the advert this week. Over to you, Mr. Allen.
Okay, we're doing this because I used to do this.
He used to do this professionally.
Yeah, I'm award-winning, actually. I won an award for this.
Way.
Oh, yeah. Take that, Anissa.
I'll take it. Yeah.
Okay. Fusion Trainings. We'll do that again.
Go.
Right.
Take two.
Fusion Training Centre, Monksland Athlone. A place to train in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, kickboxing, martial arts and CrossFit. A great atmosphere with experienced coaches and a real sense of community. If you want to join the team, find us on Facebook at Fusion. If you want to join the team... If you want to join the team, find us at... Fuck. You can cut all this shit out.
Edit the whole thing.
Yeah. If you want to join the team, find us on Facebook at Fusion Training Centre or drop in for a chat. Fusion Training Centre. Train like a warrior.
Thank you very much, Shawn. Yeah. I will edit none of that. There's no way I'm editing it.
Man,
it's good.
You have to.
No, it's so good.
You have to.
Right, so when did you discover... I suppose this doesn't have to be the first time you've performed in front of people, but when did you discover that you enjoyed or that you wanted to perform in front of people?
Oh, I don't know, to be honest with you. 'Cause, when you're playing so you maybe like a community...
Stumped him.
You did, you threw me with that one, Jesus. So when we were in... you're playing music for like colliery, and you'll go up against Southern Gaels, and you do fresh Shawn here and whatever, all those things. You're not bullied into it, but because you play music and you're like, oh no, I'll represent me, my cousins and my sisters, and we'll represent colliery. Yeah. And so you're given a category. It's male singer, ballad group, and female. There's anybody who's ever taken part in these knows what they are. There's different spoken word competition. It's competition. So exactly what it is. So you're not afraid. You don't think it's a sense of fear. It's a competition because it's like you're not there to entertain. You're there to compete. And to compete and entertain are two completely different things. And they're so serious in those competitions. You can't smile. You can't seem as if you're enjoying yourself. You zero such an Irish thing. Let's have a competition to see how no emotion you can have when you're doing something from the heart. So I never thought about it like that before until now. So that was that. So that's when we started doing that. But for entertainment purposes, I just used to my music teacher in Moat in secondary school. I used to get guitar lessons from him. Just a few, not a lot. We go over songs, and he said, I think I was playing a couple of tunes for like a Christmas show or something in school. I genuinely can't remember, but I do remember him going, "Right, are you nervous?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm going to be in front of the whole school." Again, anxiety. This is a big thing for me, because all the people that I at that age of my life, all the people in my life that I am constantly worrying what they think of me, are going to be focused right at me. And I'm like, oh God. So he did this. He made me put my guitar into the case, and he walked me into the study hall. Didn't tell me what he was doing. He just goes, "Come on here." And then he says, "Stand there for a second." And he walks in, speaks to whoever was in charge of the study hall at the time, and then goes, "Come on in." And he goes, "Can I have your attention, please? Shawn's going to sing a few songs." And I just, oh no. And that was it, like heart rate just boom, 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 boom. And he just leaned over and he said, "You can do it. Just play exactly the way you played in the music room. Don't think about anybody here. Just play it, and play it exactly the way you did it." And I was going out with a girl who was about 8 rows down. And I was, oh no, God, these songs are lame. Dump me. Oh God. So I played the songs anyway, and I looked up, and she was smiling from ear to ear.
Oh, nice.
And my brain just went, all right, you're not too bad.
Yeah.
You're okay. And that was it. That was the first time I kind of enjoyed doing it.
Yeah. You just need an affirmation from somebody.
So you need somebody to give you a bit of a kick in the butt.
Yeah.
And go, you can do this. Go and do it. So that was the first time I did it. And for that, I realized I could enjoy myself when I was playing music. But it was after that then, I think I was in 6th year, I used to go play music with my dad.
Oh, really?
And he has a ballad group. And we and it was only in one pub. I'd only go play with him in one pub. It was like an open mic session that they'd kick off. And that was great crack. I loved that. Because again, all the musicians you're playing with, Jerry Reynolds from Mount Temple as well, his nickname Piper, because guess what, he played the pipes, uilleann pipes, low E's, tin whistles, amazing. Just a phenomenal musician. And I remember sitting down and I was like, geez, this guy's the whole pub just packed, listening to these lads in the corner playing away and having fun. And then, sure, they drop down a pint to you.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Oh, no. I better play another song. It's great.
So when you went through that, right, so through your Leaving Cert, and then you kind of became somebody who was gigging quite a lot. Like, how important was the music community, around Athlone in your life at the time? Because there was a pretty close one.
Yeah.
From what I remember, anyway.
Yeah, it was.
How important were they to you?
It was hugely important.
Yeah.
It was massively important. There was such a camaraderie with all the musicians, because the support there was within the community, within Athlone.
Yeah.
I think I was 20 or I was about 20 years of age when I was playing in a group with Paul Mitchell on the drums, Darren Gavin, another Mount Temple man, and Derek Fox, just lived down the road from me, down in Creve, Killinatour, another Mount Temple man. And we played with them for 2 years, and they were I just loved every single second of it.
Yeah.
And that was just, I loved it. We played music that we liked to play, and we got regular gigs, and it was just, I can't talk about that without remembering every single wonderful aspect of that time.
That's great.
I can't talk about that without smiling internally.
Yeah.
It's just I loved it. I loved every second of it. But you know, lives move on. The lads finished college, they go and they get jobs, and they follow they follow their careers.
Of course.
And you continue. You do you. You know, you just keep going.
Yeah, well, like that's, I know from knowing you this length of time how important music is to you, like, and how it's like it's almost it's the thing that drives you, I suppose. Because every time I chatted to you, when we lived together for a year or whatever it was, it was just music all the time. Whether it was listening, talking about, playing. It was just constantly
discussing John Lennon versus Paul McCartney.
Yeah, this kind of stuff, and of course I love that debate, you know, because there's no winner in that debate, I don't think, anyway. But I do think, well, you probably do. Well,
no, I don't. I just.
But we loved having those conversations, though. That's the whole thing.
Passion.
Yeah,
constantly.
And I remember, you know, each separate band and band members would go to other gigs of the you know, bands.
We'd support each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Of
and
course.
that was great. You know?
How many times did we you'd be playing away and look down and there'd be a table, there's another band sitting at the table, and they're like, that sounds great. Or such a thing that they do now, you know, it's constantly done from band to band. Your mates are up playing away, and you go like, you just tap your ear, how does it sound?
Yeah.
And they go, turn up the bass or turn down the, you know, you can't hear your vocal, you know, there's all these little hand signals all band members know, and it's like, oh, cool.
Yeah, I remember getting a lot of tips on the acoustic guitar I was using at the time, because it was just easier to work out. No, that's
not it. No,
that's not. It's in the other room. That's the old cheap one. But yeah, I remember getting tips on that, just to turn this and turn that down, because it was easier to sort out electric guitar, I found. But yeah, those kind of little instructions from people, and were you know,
with the acoustics a lot trickier because of feedback and stuff like that, and you know,
it was a pain having to carry it around anyway. But I loved playing Sonnet, so it was like it you know.
I crack open Sonnet every now and then.
I love
every
it
time.
so
I can't hear Sonnet.
Yeah.
Without thinking of playing in a band with you guys.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? There's songs like that. 7 Nation Army is one of those ones that I hear, and we were playing it. And Kielbasa's Sausage. We won't say any more than that. I will actually have to edit something. But do you think Athlone, like, over the last few years, I don't know, it's a tough question to answer. Do you think it's kind of failed? It's music. Yeah, it's not a tough question to answer.
No, it's not. It's Athlone, before this, you know, before I say something that will get abused when I walk down the street, Athlone's music scene and the Midland scene in general was thriving when the country was thriving. But you know, the live scene in the country, as far as I recall, started like, I mean, when you could get bands like Live and Dangerous playing inside in Biddy Mulligan's. Yeah. Everybody walks in, hands over $5 or whatever to get in the door, and that's it. So part of the door, you know, part of the admission went to the band. The admission went to the band, and maybe the bar gave the band some as well to top it up. And that was how musicians survived in this country. That's how they made a living. And now that's gone.
It's gone, yeah.
There's no live venues anymore. Not with a stage. Yeah. Not with a dedicated sound system. No. Now, when I say not in the country, yes, of course, there's tons of bars in the cities. Dublin, Galway, Cork, Limerick. You will find live venues with amazing sound systems. That's great. But where's your small urban ones? Where's the ones in Athlone? Where's the ones in Moat? You know, there's plenty of places that don't have a dedicated music venue. And why is that? Yeah, it's very. We played in small pubs, like, and you played in small pubs. Every band you were in, you know. Yeah, like I remember walking into a bar and asking where we setting up, because all I saw was tables everywhere, and he goes, "Oh, you're over there in the corner. You have to leave those 2 tables there." And I was like, okay, this is a full band. Like, I mean, there's the drums. The drums alone will take over that space. Then you see venues with a small stage are more suitable for 2-piece, maybe a 3-piece. And that's fine. That's great. I've played plenty of them. With the 3-piece, that's fine. But the drummer's kit has to be small.
Yeah.
It has to be small. And our drummer, Ben, actually built a small kit.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah. Like, he took a floor tom, turned it on its side, and rejigged it, turned it into a kick drum.
Oh, nice.
And then got smaller snare and a savage setup, an amazing setup. And we got to play venues with a drum, with a full band that you would never be able to play with a full kit. So it's tough to see. And I'm definitely going to get people going, oh, what about such and such a bar? What about such and such a bar? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about where are the live venues that used to get huge bands, like touring bands.
It's true, yeah.
That's all I'm trying to say. That's just a big thing for me. Is like there's touring bands.
Touring bands who bring in full crowds.
Full crowds.
Yeah.
But because, you can blame it on anything. You can blame it on, 2 pieces with backing tracks, or the bar just wanting to get a DJ for the night and blah, blah, blah. But there's an element of,
yay!
Hold on.
Sorry about that.
Phone calls.
Shawn's little adventure. What, Lochbora, isn't it?
Lochbora, yeah.
He's climbed that. If you've been to Lochbora, there's like a kind of a pyramid, and he's at the top of that. And trust me, I went to the top of that, and I was shitting myself. So he's up at delight with himself.
My young lad is after me. I have a phone call there, a camera call from my wife and my son at the top of that pyramid thing, and he's like, "Call Daddy! I want Daddy to see this," which is great. That's cool. Thanks.
He's a very we have Harvey in our classes in jiu-jitsu, and he's the kind of kid that would try anything. I'd say try anything out, give it a go.
It's not that he doesn't have any fear. He's perfect. He can be plenty cautious. But he's as a 5-year-old, he's growing into himself, and he's becoming more and more aware of himself as an entity, and what he can and can't do, and what he should try, and not be afraid of things. And he's getting there. He's doing great.
Good on
actually, because I used to. I sat outside and I was watching him in one of the jiu-jitsu classes one day, and he's a small kid, and he's not very. He wouldn't be very. He's not a small kid. He's 5. He's tall, but he's not heavy. But anyway, getting into it here, he wouldn't be a confrontational child, and I always worried about that because of, again, my own experiences as a child growing up. I'm trying not to pass on that anxiety to him as well, which is a big deal. But anyway, so I saw him do an arm drag on a child, and I thought he killed him. I swear to God.
Really?
Oh, he nailed the kid into the ground.
And how was the kid?
Fine. Just like, he was grand, just chest down, bang, like this, and Harry was like, and I went, oh, he's going to be okay.
Yeah.
But that's the good thing about martial arts as well.
Teaches you a lot.
Yeah.
I think it does teach you a lot, discipline and how to. It's not so much about standing up for yourself or whatever. It's just being confident in yourself. Like, this confidence it gives
difference.
you.
There's a big difference between being aggressive and confident.
Exactly.
And that's a big thing for me with martial arts. That opened my eyes.
Yeah, actually, you did. Was it kickboxing or taekwondo you did?
Oh, I did kickboxing.
And how long did you do it for?
It's
not over. It's not over.
No,
I'm just saying, how long? When did you start? I should have said.
I was 35 when I started. I got into it very late in the game.
I started jiu-jitsu at 35, so it's all good.
True.
See?
Very true. How many injuries have you had?
None, actually, from it.
You're so lucky.
It is a different sport, though. It's a
very different sport.
Yeah, there's differences there.
The kickboxing thing started when I was 35, and I was like, oh, I'm going to be healthier now. I genuinely, that's probably the start of the real positive, trying to be more positive in my thoughts and actions and all that stuff. But 35, quit smoking, said, right, if you're going to do this, make the change, do something that you wouldn't normally do. Because I always because again, this probably stems back from being a child. I want to be able to learn how to handle myself. Yeah. Because I was in one fight as a kid, and the guy grabbed my thigh and kneed me in the face.
Oh no, well, that's a good move, but I mean, it's not for you.
No, it's a good move if you're in a street fight and against 5 guys. But when you're 12 years of age and there's a guy a foot taller than you just nails you, it's like, okay, I can't fight. I am never ever going to fight again.
That's it.
So that didn't really do much for me standing up for myself. So I said, right, sure, I'll go and do it. And Shane Rafferty actually was
coming soon, by the way.
Good.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Yeah.
A lot of respect for Shane, man. He's like, oh, should I do this kickboxing thing? You should do it. It's a bit of crack. And I was like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
And he goes, no. It's like, yeah. He goes, when I was in there the first time, I thought it was going to be really like intimidating. He says, no, they're really cool. And I went, okay, we'll go and do it. So I went when I was 35. Myself and Shane brought me and introduced me to everybody, and in the Wolfpack kickboxing club and martial arts.
No, go to Fusion if you're deciding on kickboxing. Go to Fusion, but Wolfpack's fine. Go. Sorry, go on.
Well, it was where I trained.
Yeah, of course.
It changed me. It changed me as a person, and in the last few years of it as well, learn how to not worry so much. There's a lot to unravel with martial arts, especially and how it affects you and how it affects your mindset.
Yeah.
And your mindset going into martial arts will predominantly be the reason why you're going in there in the first place. It's like if you're an anxious person, you go in, you go, okay, I want to be able to kick someone's ass, and I don't want to be afraid.
Yeah.
Some people train to kick someone's ass. Some people train to find peace of mind.
Yeah.
Some people train to be healthy. Some people train because they like, pretend murdering your friends. Yeah, it's great. It's great.
There is you're right though. That's you gave 4 examples there, and there's probably more examples.
Oh, there's thousands.
Yeah, of reasons to join. You were at a high level though. Kickboxing.
I just stopped short of black belt.
Yeah.
Because I my shoulder. I literally couldn't train. For the last year that I was training, you got me now. I'm 41. Got into the game at 35. Had a couple of fights. Did okay. And
did you enjoy the fights?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah. Even the one I lost, I enjoyed. I really enjoyed that one because we were just going hell for leather.
Really? Yeah.
Oh, we were knocking the crap off each other. But. Yes, went in at 35, got healthy, met everybody, loved it, loved the crack, loved the exercise, loved getting fit, loved getting bigger because I'm not as scrawny as I used to be now, and that's a big thing. And I loved what it did to my mindset.
Yeah,
and there's at this stage, I've probably forgotten more. Because I haven't gone in a long time. But I do miss it. Yeah. Terribly.
So tell us a bit, actually, going into it. What I'm following you on your Facebook accounts at the moment. You're doing a particular day 30.
the 30-day kick my own ass workout. Yeah, that's. I don't know why I started that. I think it was because I was getting out of the shower maybe about 2 weeks ago. Had I noticed I was an awful lot bigger than what I used to be. In the belly, and I was like, is this middle-aged spread, or is this just because I've been eating 3 pizzas a week for the last 4 months? So I was like, okay, come on, man, just do something. You're not going to be able to do what I used to, because I used to train 3 classes a week. I used to do Monday and then 2 back to back on a Wednesday.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, and that'd be like 2.5 hours on a Wednesday. I just constantly do it. But that was when I was like really like I worked up to that.
Yeah, you're on
really
it.
Enjoying it, and I would have done Fridays if I wasn't working it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd have loved it, but there's a time when you're training to fight, and when you're fighting somebody who may be 20 years younger than you, and all the benefits that go with it.
Yeah.
Who's, you have to be honest with yourself and go, okay, maybe this isn't. I'm getting the head kicked off me here. I'm not going to be able to last long doing this. I started this at 35. I haven't been doing this since I was 7. You know.
Yeah, like some people have just going at it since they were kids.
Years.
Like,
There's lads doing this for years, and I was like, okay, I love this, but you know, my shoulders wrecked, my shins or knees and joints, and my knuckles. You know, I have to not stop, but I definitely have to slow down a little bit.
Of course, you have to remember that you've got like Harvey there to look after, and you know you're married to Louise obviously as well.
Yeah.
You can't be hobbling or whatever injuries you might get.
I can't stand in front of a microphone and say, "Hey, can we have Janice and Gavin onto the dance floor and 2 black eyes?"
2 black eyes.
You know,
that's true.
Busted nose. So there was, like, it's great.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I genuinely love kickboxing. I love all martial arts.
Yeah, Shawn had a nunchucks when we lived in the same house, and it terrified me when he was at it. I don't know how many times he hit himself in the shins.
Oh, I clocked myself in the shins a good few times.
And also, I don't know whose gun it was, but somebody had a pellet gun.
Mate.
Was that your gun?
Yeah.
And he was handing it over to me, and from point blank range, shot me in the ribcage. The pain of it. It was intense.
Oh, sorry. I totally
Do you remember
forgot
that? The hallway.
Oh,
I think we were the only 2 people in the house as well.
Oh, you dropped like a fly. You
I did.
Down. I went,
went
my God, it's okay. And you went, you fucking shot me.
I went down. Can you tell us actually a bit about, because we mentioned your time as a DJ as well. Like, how did that happen?
Oh God, Jesus. Yeah. We'll keep this quick because I know I'm rambling.
No, you're good.
As if Louise was listening to this now, she'd be like, Shawn, bullet points, man, come on.
Bullet points.
Saw an ad in the paper,
Right.
applied for it, applied online, got down to Galway for it. There was 500 entries, and they whittled it down. I had zero experience of being a presenter on a radio show. So I was like, I should go down here. What's the worst? I'll be back at square one, like, you know. And got the call back, and over the course of a certain number of weeks, got the job.
Yeah.
And so I ended up having 4 shows a week.
Yeah. I remember listening to them. I was like, "What?"
Yeah,
strange. No, it wasn't like that. I only listened.
It was cool.
Did you get to pick? Did you get to a good amount of choice of your own, the songs that you wanted to listen to, or were they?
The way it was organized was every weekday night, Monday to Friday, there would be a specialist music show,
Right.
for whatever 2 hours. Monday night was my one, and then I think it was hip hop on a Tuesday night, and then it was alternative, kind of up and coming kind of stuff, and out there, not mainstream kind of stuff was on a Wednesday, and then R&B on a Thursday, and then dance on a Friday. I'm pretty sure that was it. I could be wrong. Maybe the R&B and whatever. Just, it's not important. Bullet points, Shawn. Bullet points. So that's what we did, and then I ended up doing the breakfast shows on the weekend as well. And myself and a guy called Stephen Kearns from Athlone ended up presenting those shows, all 4 of those shows together.
Right.
So Monday night I'd take the reins on the metal show, or the rock show.
I remember listening to the rock show. Yeah.
And then on the Wednesday night he'd take the reins on his show,
Right.
which was Alternative Eye. And then on a Saturday and Sunday morning, we'd be in there bleary-eyed at 5:30 in the morning.
That early?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We did like was it 6 o'clock start or something like that? I think it was a 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I genuinely, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
But we did those, and you'd kind of help run make sure everything goes well or lines up for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And that's what we did, and we did that for a couple of years.
You enjoyed it when you were doing it?
Yeah. I did. I learned a lot.
Yeah.
I learned a lot, but more importantly, I learned that there's a lot of pressure for people who aren't on air. There's a lot of pressure for people on air, but the pressure for people in the higher up around is huge.
Really?
Yeah. Yes.
Not jobs that I should go for. in my
Not if you're prone to
anxious
bouts
state.
of anxiety.
No,
No, it wouldn't be the best.
I'm going to ask you a couple of.
But it was great crack. I
you
loved
like
it,
it?
and
Yeah.
I really enjoyed myself, and I'm glad I did it.
I thought you were very good though at it. I thought your voice was suited to it as well.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
I enjoyed doing like the music specialist shows, and the weekend stuff was like grand. But you have to be able to sit in a room, with, if you don't like the music you're playing, that's especially if you're a musician.
Yeah,
But if you don't like the music that you're playing, it's just, you just feel odd about it. So you have to go, oh, up next is such and such.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I didn't think of that when it's music you don't like. I was just thinking of the opposite side where it's just music you love.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
This is such and such. You know,
like I had a great time doing it, and I loved it.
class. These are just easy questions that I just wanted to ask because it's been a long time. I'm going to guess one of them, but the others I won't be able to. So don't answer the first one. So your favorite band, and do you know what I would? Do you know who I would say? And this is probably wrong, and I'd be disappointed. Is it Pearl Jam?
Bang on.
Is it Pearl Jam? Yes, I remember
Well
because
done.
we played.
Yeah.
Listened to so much Pearl Jam.
Oh yeah, if I could get away with it, I'd be in a Pearl Jam tribute band. Except I can't sing like Eddie Vedder.
It's a hard voice though to copy. Yeah, it's a very. It is though. I think his voice, his early voice, is very difficult to imitate. I don't know so much about it now, and I know Shane, who we spoke about, favorite band would also be Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
I'm not going to guess these other ones because I honestly I don't know. So, what's your favorite album?
Oh, Appetite for Destruction.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that is. I have many favorite albums.
Yeah.
But I have that. That's always first and foremost in my mind because it was one of the earliest rock albums that I had ever listened to. I was listening to like Dire Straits was another one that I like back in the day.
I mean, you got a good taste, a good wide taste in music anyway. So
wide enough,
I suppose. But that's what you're saying about. If you say best album, if you can nail down one, it's quite difficult if you got a wide range because you think, well, on another day it would be Dire Straits.
It could be Jagged Little Pill.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, something
what I
like
mean?
that. Here's one. You mightn't have a best song, your favorite song.
Depends on my mood.
Yeah, see, that's another one, isn't it?
Depends 100% on my mood. I could wake up and put on like Earth, Wind and Fire just to get me downstairs and like listen to Boogie Wonderland, you know.
Yeah.
And then get down there and stick on Dust in a Baggie by fucking Billy Strings.
Yeah.
And then you could
really
be listening to
depends,
Rage
yeah.
Against the Machine. Anything that'll get your heart rate going is anything that evokes a physical response in you.
Yeah.
Is a good song. Like you can't, if you listen to music and you don't feel something, put on another song.
Yeah.
Put on another song. You should be listening to something that moves you.
I remember we went to I think it was your cousin's wedding. I can't really remember. There was a wedding we went to.
Moat.
Was it in Moat? Me, you, John, Paul. And you got up and it was your, like, the song that you performed, or your family seemed to think that the one you performed was American Pie. Well,
yeah.
I never really asked you at the time. Was that just something that you always sang when you were young, or what was the...
No, I think it was a song. Well, because I'd be more inclined to play and sing at the time. I would have been more inclined to sing like Pearl Jam and stuff like that. Well, you're at a wedding, so know your crowd. Turn around to the band. Do you know American Pie? Because we can pull that off.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, cool. And I also loved that song.
That's yeah.
But it's about a gazillion hours long.
It's a long one.
You know, you gotta cut a couple of verses off there. But we didn't. We played the whole damn thing.
Yeah, I remember, and it was good. And I've never asked you the question, so I just wanted to, just out of interest, why it was...
because I like singing it, and the crowd would have known it, and the band would have known it.
Yeah.
And it was just
a great song. Everybody loves
and
the
it's
song.
a great tune.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good sing along as well.
Yeah. I think everybody seems to love it. I don't think I've met someone who's like, American Pie is terrible or whatever. But so this leads me actually well into this one. This was not planned. Do you believe in guilty pleasures, or do you think that's just nonsense and just like what you want to like?
Musically.
Musically, yeah.
Oh my god.
Steady.
I was like, what?
Where are we going with this?
Where are we going with this? And you gotcha moment there on the weekly.
The new avenue he's taking.
Hold on. Yeah, I have plenty.
But do you see them as guilty pleasures though, or do you see them as songs you like? You're not guilty about it. It's just what it is.
I used to be like, I like such and such. I better not let them know. And now I'm like, what? F you.
Yeah.
I like this song.
That's exactly what I think. Yeah.
If I'm drinking and I hear Gangnam Style, I'm dancing. I don't care.
It's happening.
Do you know what I mean? It's happening. You better make peace with it. But then again, if I hear, Cochise, I'm singing.
Yeah.
I
remember you singing it in Harvey's one night actually, and nobody was in there. You just blasted.
Yeah,
it.
just going for it.
Yeah, it was great.
But that's it. That's the whole point of music is to get you to connect with yourself.
Yeah.
And other people.
I agree. I don't believe in. I used to think that guilty pleasures. I wouldn't tell anybody anything, right? But do you know what?
Yeah, everybody kid.
How did you know? No. Do you know what song I actually like? And everybody hates it. Everybody hates it.
Go on.
"You're Beautiful" by James Blunt. His most famous song.
I do.
Yeah.
It's just his voice is nasal as hell.
His voice is kind of weird, right? But here's look. You can see I wrote that with a different pen. I wrote this morning. This question, right, about guilty pleasures. I think you liked my post on Facebook. I was watching the film Greed this morning, okay?
Ah, yes.
With Steve Coogan, right?
I still have to watch that.
It's a very good film. It's very funny. You'll laugh at it, right? But there's one scene. It's not a spoiler or anything. There's one scene where he's wooing his lady in a hotel room, and you hear
wooing.
Wooing. Yeah, I love that word. So he's what's another word for wooing? He's giving her a ring.
Seduction.
Seducing.
Seducing.
So you can hear "You're Beautiful's" in the background, right?
Okay.
But as Coogan's going further into the hotel room, it becomes clear that it's not on the radio, and he looks out the window and there's James Blunt playing it downstairs, like, because he's paid him to be there for the moment where he's giving her the engagement ring or whatever it is. So he's standing there and they're talking. Is it? Yeah, 75 grand for one song. Just one, yeah, I know, yeah. But it was just very funny, and I realised I actually quite like the song. I know what you're saying about the voice, but the melody is quite good.
Listen, as songs go,
yeah,
you break James Blunt's "You're Beautiful" down into its elements.
Yeah.
And it's a guy telling this woman, "You're beautiful." And as much as it pains me to say this, that song does exactly what it's supposed to do. All right? That's it.
Yeah.
There's nothing behind it.
And he's I don't know if you're on Twitter or not, but he's a very funny dude.
I've heard and seen. I've kind of put my hand out to block Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. The world is better off without me on it, and I'm better off not seeing what's out there.
I don't know. I'd like you on Twitter.
I doubt it.
I think
no.
No.
Let's move on. I heard. I've seen some of his tweets. They're hilarious.
He's a very funny guy.
Because somebody tweeted, "I'd love to get a run and punch at you," and he goes, "Yeah, join the queue."
But he's so droll and dry about about they all hate him.
Guy's a tank commander in the.
Oh yeah, proper.
Guerra.
Yeah, proper lad.
Do you think he's worried?
I know, yeah.
Whether somebody on Twitter wants to have a punch. Yeah, come on.
He's living in a big mansion in Ibiza. He's all right.
Yeah, he's all right.
I probably butchered the word Ibiza there, but whatever. Have you got any questions for me?
I was thinking about this on the way over.
Oh, were you really? Yeah.
I was like, what would I ask him? Which do you like more, playing the guitar or jiu-jitsu?
Oh, I would say probably the guitar. I think it's.
How would you feel about bringing a guitar into a jiu-jitsu match?
I think that'd be all right.
That'd be totally fine.
I'd woo the opponent. Solid out water. Yeah, I think it's just because I've been doing it since I was 14, and not 35.
Yeah,
it's a different. But I'd hate to think, I'd hate to have either taken away. But if it was one of those decisions where it gun to your head,
I wouldn't remove either. I wouldn't even entertain the notion of removing something that brings me joy.
Yeah, exactly.
That brings me peace.
Yeah,
and without hurting or harming anybody else.
No.
It's like, why would you want to?
Yeah, it's hard enough to find these things that do give you joy. So when you do them, And, you know, I've had over the last couple of weeks, I've kind of mentioned it to Martin, I've had a bit of trouble in jiu-jitsu, just at the sense of, you know, you beat yourself up, you've probably done in kickboxing a lot, where you think you're not getting anywhere and you're trying to struggle through and it's tough and you think, you're thinking, I quit.
Growth, man.
Yeah, but that's exactly what it is. And I suppose I'm just kind of learning with that as it goes along. But I realise, you know, that I do love it. So I'm not going to quit it or anything,
I want to go back because I want to get my black belt. Now, over the last 5 years, raising Harvey, I couldn't dedicate as much time to it. So there was, for 1 year, I think there was a gap of about 3 months.
Yeah.
You know, and I missed the grading. And then 2 years after that, there was another gap of about 5 months where I missed the grading. And and it's okay. Like, that's life. Life happens to you. And I know some martial artists go, oh, well, you know, I got my black belt in 4 years. Why did, you know, it's like, well, man, that's great for you.
Yeah.
That's
different
cool.
lifestyles.
That's cool. Yeah. Okay. But like, you don't have to play a gig at 2 o'clock in the morning and travel back from Cork at 5 o'clock in the morning to go and work out and do a grading for 2.5 hours on a mat, which is every time I played in Cork, there was a grading the day after. Every time, ask any of the guys in the band, every time there was a grading, I was playing in Cork the night before.
And that's, you know, people in jiu-jitsu and that as well have just missed gradings over and over again. There's nothing they can do about it, you know, and that's just, like you say, it's life. I mean, a 19-year-old with no commitments can be in there every night.
That's
it's fine.
Awesome. And you should be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you could be in
there's
there,
a lot worse things you could be doing.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Than strangle cuddling your friend.
It's true. That is true. Shawn, it's been very entertaining.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming on. I really appreciate it. And this is not, I've never said this to anyone on the show, actually, so this isn't nonsense or bullshit. You were one of the first names down the list when I was going to do this, to have on as guest. Cool. And I just want you to know that there's a few people who, and you were one of them, and
thanks, man.
It was really great. I'll rattle these bits off. Thank you very much to the usual suspects, to John, his family, and Megan, and Jer, my mother, father, my grandfather. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't done it already. We're on Facebook, the Weekly Wheatley. Instagram is Wheatley _there, and Twitter is something else. I think it's the Weekly Wheatley, or it's the other way around. We're on Spotify, Apple, Anchor, etc. Join up with Discord if you want. Send me a message, John a message. We will send you an invite, or we'll just put it up on the page once a week normally. As always, thanks to everyone who has tuned in to this podcast, this episode and every other episode. This was a good bit of crack. This one, we had some interruptions. We had some. I'll be honest. We had some lovely, lovely reading of the advert.
Yeah,
which isn't going to get edited, which is the best thing about it. So listen, as I say, Shawn, thanks a million. Really,
thank you.
Respect for coming in, and everybody else, well, you'll have seen this by now, but every Saturday night 6:30 tune in. Thanks a million, take care, and goodbye.